Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new series. We've been travelling around in the wilderness and wound up in the dark forest, a rather beautiful area of the woodland, and there's some lovely water around here, so that means it is a perfect place for us to settle. And we are going to be settling as a frontier farmer. That's right, we have all but our pioneer's tent and $1,000 in our wallet, and we are going to be setting up a lovely home and a farm for us to live off the land. Now we are not in present day, we are back in time somewhat, so we're only going to be able to use the equipment that is available to us, and that is going to be older school, older style equipment. And of course, because we're living off the land, it is going to be focused on moving from survive through to thrive. Fantastic. But yeah, we've got our pioneer's tent set up here where we've been staying for the last few days or so, and we're perfectly happy here, but we really do need to think about setting ourselves up quite nicely in this area. So if we take a look at the map, we can see that the dark forest is a very large and unwieldy forest area with not a lot for us to make use of. There's no fields, so whatever we do make, we are going to have to create ourselves. Now there's not very much in the dark forest, but there is a abandoned logging and distribution area over here, which I'm going to try and navigate towards using our trusty map and compass. So I think I need to be heading over in this direction, and we're going to wander and see what we can find at this area. Right, I'm just coming to a bit of a clearing, and I think I can see what is the old logging and distribution centre that's here. It's been abandoned, so it's not been in use for a long time, but supposedly there's some stuff here that we can make use of, and we are absolutely going to make use of it. And of course this land is not settled, so it's up for grabs for us to come and take ownership of and frontier. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Okay, so there's a old distribution centre here, and I imagine they would have delivered all sorts of vehicles and machinery here when it was in operation. But once we settle here, hopefully we can get it back open and in contact with the rest of the world. Okay, let's take a look around here. This looks to be part of the logging operation where logs were loaded and sold, so hopefully we're going to be able to make use of this, because this is a forest. We are going to need to make some money to progress our farm and our living situation, so we're going to be having to cut down quite a few trees and try and profit from them to progress our farm. Right, and if we take a little look over here, I think we're finding a disused old shed, and there's quite a few little bits of old junk and pipes, tanks, oil drums, all that sort of stuff. But oh, there's a old generator here. Maybe that will help us get the old warehouse and distribution centre up and running. And oh, that's handy. There's a nice winch here. That's going to certainly help if we do get into logging. But we're going to need some sort of tractor to pull this. Right, let's take a look around, and oh, there's a handy box here. Let's take a look and see what's inside. Aha! An old chainsaw. That's exactly what we're going to need to cut down some of these trees. Perfect. Right, let's stash that away, and hopefully we might be able to prise the door open here and take a look at what's inside. Oh, it's an old bad car, a mattress, a boat. But look at this. It's a tractor, and it's a Case IH Farmall 560 D282 Turbo. Brilliant. Doesn't look too shabby, but just taking a look around at the wear and tear, well, yeah, it is quite a bit worn, so we are going to have to fix this old girl up if we want to use it in anger. Fantastic. Well, let's hop on and see if we can start her up. Oh, bit cold, this engine. Gonna need a few attempts to get running, I think. There she goes. Lovely. Wide interaction. I'll let her run for a bit so she warms up and get this opened so we can drive out of here. Yeah, of course this is abandoned, so we are certainly going to make use of this, and yeah, if anyone comes looking for their tractor, of course we will give it back to them, but for the time being we are going to make use of this tractor. And fantastic, let's hop on and have a little drive out of this shed. Fantastic. Right, she runs alright, steering works, and I think it's got a 3-point linkage on the back with a PTO, so it looks like we can run some equipment. And also we've got a trusty weight on the front, so that's going to help if we need to pull anything. Now there was a winch behind here. I wonder if we can spin in here and pick that up. We are low on fuel, so we are going to have to go and see if we can get some fuel from somewhere. There we go, we can pick up this Lizard Forestry D60. Now this is going to be quite a handy winch for us doing some logging operations that we are clearly going to need to do in the dark forest. Super. Right, I did see a toolbox and something around the other side of this disused distribution centre. So we're going to have a little look, see if we can use some of the tools here to fix up this old girl and get it back into some decent condition. Same for the winch, it's looking very used. So the Case IH doesn't have much value, but looks to be a pretty decent tractor, so we can repair it for $230, which we most certainly are going to need to do, so let's repair that. And the winch is also not in a very good condition, but it's too expensive at the moment to repair it, so we are going to have to wait and hopefully restore that at a later time. But that's the tractor back up to scratch, luckily. Yeah, so it's still showing very low in terms of the maintainability, but if we unhitch the winch we can see that the tractor is good, but the winch is, yes, in very bad repair, so we will need to repair that at another stage. But next thing we need to focus on is fueling up this old girl, because she's running low, and if we're going to try and make use of this, then we are going to need some fuel. And I did hear about a fuel station somewhere down from the distribution and logging area, so I think if we head over this way, you can see just faintly in the map there's an old track. I think I can see it emerging. Here it is. So let's settle in and travel down this track and see if we can find something to fuel up. The dark forest sure is pretty. Well, it is the summer, so I imagine it's going to look very nice in the sunshine, but come a rainy day or come winter, I'm sure it's going to become very harsh conditions to live in. But that means we need to get set up and get somewhere nice and comfortable to live before the winter is here. I think I can see a building in the distance down here, and I think, oh yes, that looks to be some sort of fuel pump out the front. Here we go. So let's just park up, switch up, and have a little look around first. But I'm not expecting anyone to be here. This is not a well used area, so let's just have a look if anyone's in. Nope, no answer. It doesn't seem that anyone is around here. But if we take a look at the fuel pump, you can see that there's quite a lot in the reserve. There's obviously a tank underground here, so we should be able to fuel up using this, and I don't think anyone's going to complain because, yeah, we're the only ones here. And oh, it has charged us some money. There's obviously a pay at the pump type situation here where we can put some money in the meter, so it's good that we've paid our way, and that is fantastic. And the farm is all fueled up now. If we take a little look, seems like we can't go any further down the track at the moment. There is a tree in the way, and although we've got our trusty winch, I don't want to be venturing too far today, so we are going to have to come and clear that blockage later on. But for the time being, let's get back to the logging and distribution area and see about hopefully carving a path through to where we want to set up our home, and that's going to take the shape of a cabin. Alright, we are back at the logging and distribution area, and I think the first job we're really going to have to do on the dark forest is carve a path through to where our tent is, because that is the location where we are going to be setting up somewhere to live, and that is going to be a log cabin. So I think we are going to need to cut down quite a few trees in order to supply the wood and the money to make a log cabin. So we want to make sure we've got the right direction, and if I look at the map, it's definitely this way, which is the right direction to where our trusty tent is. So we are going to need to head off into the trees, and I'm not going to be cutting down a huge amount, but an amount that's going to enable us to carve a nice pathway of our own through to where our tent is. So I'll start by cutting down this tree here, and we want to leave good stump so A, we can see it, and B, so we can come and clear them easily at a later date. And there we go, that's our first tree felled, and we can delimit by running the chainsaw down the length of the tree here. There we go. Fantastic. Hopefully that's everything delimbed. I think there was something in our way up here, so we might just need to go back the other way. Super. Right, okay, one tree cut. Let's jump in the tractor and see if we can get it winched. Now this winch is looking a bit battered, but I think it's going to work for us. And if we pull up behind where we need to, we should be able to lash the log to the winch and drag it to the sell point. And we'll have to do that for all the logs we cut down. Right, so I've got the cable, and we can lash it to the tree as so, and hopefully I'll pull away. The tractor is going to, oh yes, there we go, managed to pull this tree out of here. Fantastic. So we want to be dragging this over here to where the sell point is, and I'm probably going to trim the tree down a little bit, because I know that when selling logs and when it's processed through this machine here, it can't take the full size of the tree. It's more optimal to have it at 9 or even 6 meter lengths. Let's just detach that, and I think there's a little bit of bush that hasn't quite cleared off. There we go. Excellent. Let's cut this down to some degree of reasonable size. I think we'll go one cut there, and one cut there. And I don't know, is this too heavy to... oh no, we can carry this, luckily, drag this over here. And if I go around to here, I think I should be able to kickstart off this tree cutter. Ah, there we go. Wow, fantastic. $1,700 from that one tree. I think that's going to allow us to service the winch now, finally. We can get that up to a good state of repair. Right, so we can repair this for $894. Quite expensive, but yep, that's all nicely repaired, and we're back up to $1,500. Now I have got the economic difficulty on normal. If we're making too much money from the trees, I will crank it up too hard, so it's not too easy, and we're making money hand over fist from all these trees. But yeah, nonetheless, we do need to actually make quite a bit of money in order to afford our log cabin. And I've just taken a look. The log cabin that we do want to purchase and construct for our new farm, our new place to live, is $18,000. So we have got quite a bit of money to make, actually. So Yeah, although we're making quite good money per tree, per log, we do need quite a bit in order to afford constructing ourselves a new farm and a new living space. So, we've got quite a few trees to cut down to clear a path for making a nice track through to our tent and our area where we want to live. So I'm going to get busy cutting down trees and making a nice path here, and then we will winch them all to the sell point, chop them up and get them sold, so we can hopefully by the end of the session build ourselves a nice log cabin to live in. So I'm going to see to that. I don't need to cut down every tree because we have a good amount of space either side. Yeah, I'll get busy and see you when we've made some good progress. So that's the second to last logs deposited in front of where we can drop the logs off and try and get some money for them. And it's been a bit of a long task. But nonetheless, we have done quite a few trips, and if we were to cut the logs down to smaller sizes, it would have meant more trips. So I've tried to double up on logs where possible, where it's not too heavy for the tractor, and pull them through. But as you can see, we've well worn a path through the trees now, and I can imagine this track will only get bigger the more we use it. And we're going to have to do something to try and clear some of the stumps because they are a bit in the way. I did have to use the chainsaw to chip away one of the stumps so I could get a log out of there. But yeah, down towards the tent we've got one last tree that we just need to drag to the sell point, and then we can get all the logs cut down to a reasonable size and sold. Last tree dropped off, and now we can start to chop some of these down to size. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to get them all butted up together. These ones have managed to be deposited quite evenly, so we'll start with those. So yeah, I'm just going to sort of guesstimate how much 6 or 9 meters is. Remove any foliage such as that, and I think there's another bit down here, and once we've got them all chopped up we can get them sold. And I think I'm going to have to cut off this overhanging bit because that's definitely not going to be in the space we need it to be in order to sell. Okay, that's all the logs cut to a good length between 6 and 9 meters. I haven't got an accurate way of measuring them, so we're just doing it by guesstimation. But let's get this all processed and see how much we've got. Hopefully it all accepts this. We might have to move some of it further into the spawn point. Wow, we've got 23,758, and there's still some that we just need to shunt into the spawn area. So let's get the farm and push it into place. Right, hopefully we can sell that next batch now. There we go, another 15,000. So yeah, we're up to £40,000 now, and that gives us a good amount to be able to buy our log cabin, plus some spare funds in order to purchase next time the equipment we are going to need in order to start creating a farm area. Of course, we're going to have to make some fields, which we'll have to clear some more space in order to do. And we'll need things like a plough, a cultivator, a seed drill, and then eventually things like a harvester. So although we're making good money from the logs, we are setting up from scratch, so there is lots of stuff we need to purchase. Yeah, I'm going to head back to the tent now, and we'll select a suitable place for us to place our home, our log cabin. Back at the tent, and I think we are going to have to go slightly further uphill because, yes, the tent is fine down here, but in case there's some rain, it's a bit low down here. So we want to make sure we're out of the descending area, and we probably want to find a nice clearing where we can put our log cabin. So I'm thinking somewhere up here, and oh yeah, this looks to be fairly clear. There's only a couple of trees that we're going to have to cut down to make space for a log cabin, or perhaps somewhere up here. Yeah, this looks to be pretty good. This is nice and flat, and there's only a few trees that we're going to have to clear out. So let's get the old chainsaw out and start clearing away again. There we go, I've chopped 2 trees down, and I think that's all we're going to need in order to have enough space for our log cabin. So I'm going to just create a little pathway, I think, from our pioneer tent using the tractor to just scrape the ground. And yeah, what's quite handy is that we can lower this winch on the back that's got a nice skid bit at the back, and if we lower it to the ground, it should help us create a nice path. There we go. So that's a nice forest path chiseled out that leads from our tent to where our new log cabin is going to go. I quickly need to just move these logs out of the way, which we cut down, and I'll probably have to chainsaw these stumps out so we make some nice space for our new log cabin. But maybe we'll keep these trees here, we don't need to sell them, we can use them for firewood. Winching up the second tree. And we'll drag that next to the first one I've put just alongside the little pathway here. Fantastic. So lastly, I just need to chainsaw these stumps out of the way so they're not going to interfere with where our log cabin is going to go. So let's just chop them, chew them up out of the way. Okay, so it's time to build our log cabin. Let's put our order in with the distribution centre. And there we are. Our log cabin is constructed. So we actually have a place to live now, and all of that wood has contributed to creating our lovely new log cabin and the funds that we needed. And we still got a modest amount left over. Let's open up and take a little look inside. Oh, fantastic. We've got a wood burner to keep us warm. We've got a kitchen area and some running water, probably from a local well. And I think this is where we can put our coat and boots and stuff, and in there is a bed, which is lovely. And oh, that looks to be a futuristic tractor. How interesting. But yes, a nice modest log cabin for us to live in for the time being. And of course we will want to upgrade as we go, and we can maybe get a bigger, more fancy log cabin as we progress. But yes, we've established the first part of our frontier farm out in the dark forest. We cut down a nice path between us and some form of life, which is the distribution centre where we can get equipment and sell the various wood and other goods that we need to. We found a lovely tractor that was abandoned and a winch, which has really helped us with the logging, and also a vintage chainsaw, which is again very useful for helping us with the logging. Next time we are going to have to focus on the next phase, which is actually maybe creating a field space for us to start to grow something, perhaps some wheat or barley, so we can get some chickens, and that's going to be a food source for us. But yeah, off to a good start. But that is it for today. I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like, and if you want to let me know what you think of this series so far, and if you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. Hope to see you again next time, and until then, catch you later. Cheers all, bye bye.